Do you want to know how to iterate over C# arrays? This is Daniel and you are going to get coded. Here I have Visual Studio opened and let's try to create a simple console application. So File, New Project, and under Visual C# Windows Desktop we will choose Console App. And let's rename this to Iterate Arrays and hit OK. While this is loading, I have here a link and you can find the link in the description down below and you can read for yourself as well and you can copy the code from here. As I said, we are going to see how we can iterate over C# arrays. But first, we need to look at the length property. So let's do that. You can find how many items are in an array by accessing its length property. So here we have a fruit array with 3 fruits: watermelon, peach, and lemon. And then we want to access the length property. We basically want to know how many items are there. And we can do that by using the variable, the array variable, and then dot length. And we access the length property of the array variable. And then we will save the length in another local variable. As you can see here, we have 3 fruits indeed. Now Visual Studio is done. Let's try to write the code here and see if we get the same result. So var fruits equals new string and square brackets. And here I will add watermelon, peach, and then a lemon indeed. Okay. Then I will define a local variable called length to be able to store the actual length property of the array. And let's try to print the length to the console by saying cw tab, so console.writeLine and length. For us to be able to actually see what's in the console, we need console.read key, and this will wait for us until we press any key. So let's run this by pressing F5 or click the start button over here, and we have 3. Maybe this is too small for you. Let me try to adjust the font size. So indeed we have 3 fruits in our array. Okay, so we know that. Also, the array exposes the count method as well, but the length property is faster. So consider using it over the method. So this is my advice: use the length property because, as you saw here, is faster. So it performs better than the count method. So iteration. We can use the for loop to iterate, or we can just use FOREACH. First, let's see how we can iterate using for. You can see here I have an I variable of type int, and I initialize this with 0. And then this I variable goes from 0 until fruits.length. When this I variable gets the value fruits.length, then this is not less than fruits.length anymore, and we exit the for loop and we don't run the statements inside the body of the for loop. Let's see why. Here we have 3 fruits, so the I goes from 0 to 3. When I is 0, we print out watermelon. When I is 1, we print out peach. When I is 2, we print out lemon. When I is 3, 3 is not less than 3. 3 is equal to 3. So we exit this and we don't run it anymore. So as long as this condition here is true, we are executing all the statements inside the body of the for loop. Otherwise, or when this gets false, we exit the for loop and we continue on with other statements and with the rest of the program. Next, we have for each. So we have for each var fruit in fruits. Again, we iterate over our fruits array. And here we have a local variable called fruit, and we could have named this in any other ways, like I or item or element or f from fruit. But you need to remember all the times when you want to create a variable, you need to find a good name for those variables, because you don't code by yourself, hopefully, and you code with other developers, and you need to write your code so that other developers who come after you will understand what's happening in your code. And in our case, we are iterating over an array of fruits, so it makes sense to have a fruit variable. Okay, and then we print this out to the console. Let's try to write these two down and see how they behave. So for tab, we will leave this as I, and then we iterate iterate until fruits.length, enter, and then CW tab and fruits index I, and this represents the actual item. When we use for loop, we need to specify the index. Okay, let's press F5 and let's run this and see that we get watermelon, peach, and lemon. So indeed, these fruits. Okay, let's write this as well. So underneath, I will put for each, and then tab. I'll leave var, and then fruit in fruits. Enter, and then CW tab and fruit. And let's run this, F5, and this indeed prints again the same thing. So these three come from for loop, these three come from the for each loop. Okay, let's press any key to stop this. So again, here the item is fruits index I, here the item is fruit. One short note here, you can iterate through arrays using for each because they implement the I enumerable interface, and I'll make a separate video for this interface as well. So let's summarize this, and you saw the result. So let's summarize this. My recommendation is to use for each over for when looping, so when you loop. But this depends on the scenario. If you need to use the index, so this I from here, somehow, then you should use the for loop. If it's just a simple looping through the items, then use for each. And if you agree with this, please click thumbs up. And this sums up how you iterate over arrays in C#. If you liked it, consider subscribing. My goal right now is to have 1,000 subscribers. And also, if you have questions, please leave them down below, and they might end up in the Q&A video that I'll post after I'll get 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and see you. Bye.